All right, welcome aboard. This is going to be a tutorial on how to get started with your tray project. The first thing that we need to do is click into your Canvas modules and find your project directions for your project. Okay, so wherever that may be, I'm going to click over here. And then I'm going to go ahead and just put this in a new tab just to get a little closer look. All right, so the one thing that I will say about the tray project is it's relatively simple. The one thing that is really great about CAD is we only have to make 3 items rather than 4, because the top and bottom, you'll notice, is 3 by 19 as well as the middle tray. So I'm actually just going to make one part for that. The other 2 parts that we're going to make are the 1-inch strips and the handle supports. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started in our Autodesk Inventor piece. Let me close out of my existing project. Okay. All right. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to create a project folder, which is right here. So I'm going to click on projects. You're going to choose new, single user project, and then put it as your name, your last name, I should say, and tray. Okay. You can hit finish or next. It doesn't really matter. Hit finish. It says project path doesn't exist. Should be created. Absolutely. You'll notice that it's Trey, my last name Trey, and I'm good to go. You'll also notice located right here. So once we've created our portion of our tray, we are simply going to start making the parts. And it's relatively simple and straightforward, but I want to make sure to guide you through. So there's 2 areas that you can do. You can do File, New, or you could just click here and say New. All right. We're going to choose a standard IPT and create. And then once we're in our Inventor part, that's what IPT stands for, we're going to select Start 2D Sketch, XY plane, okay? And now we can start sketching the actual piece, all right? So if I go back to my tray piece, okay, I'm going to start off with the middle / top bottom, and that is going to be 3 by 19. We're going to ignore these 3/4 or 0.75 dimensions because that's going to be the extrusion, but we are going to create the rectangles for those, all right? So I'm going to jump back into my Autodesk and I'm going to choose rectangle, and I suggest that you do the 2-point center rectangle, and the reason for that is because it keeps the piece centered on your screen. Okay, could you do a 2-point rectangle somewhere else? Absolutely, but let's just keep it in the middle. So 2-point rectangle. I'm going to go up and you see this little yellow dot. I'm going to put my mouse right over it. When it turns green, I'm going to click once, move outward, click again. Okay. Now, if I continue clicking, I'm just going to make more and more rectangles. So I don't want to do that. All right. So I'm going to undo that. The next thing that I need to do is dimension. So if I actually mouse over dimension, you'll see that little drop down. It has the letter D in parentheses. You can either choose dimension or you can press the D key on the keyboard. It's called a shortcut. So you'll notice I just pressed the D key, and we're going to dimension this piece. So the length of it's got to be 19 inches. When you do dimension, or whenever you do any type of dimension, try to stay away from these little green dots in the middle. Those are called midpoints, and they don't actually help you, so to speak, dimension a line. So make sure the line lights up. I'm going to click once. I'm going to move outward. I'm going to click again, and I'm going to put in 19 inches. Once I do that, it'll probably kind of give you a little bit of a shock. It's disappeared. It really hasn't. What it's done is it's gone to 19 inches and thusly adapted the total height. So in order to get that back into focus, you can just scroll up on your mouse wheel and get that back in. I like to go ahead and I push down on my mouse wheel, and you can go ahead and move your mouse to reposition this. Really helps a lot, okay? So I've got my 19-inch piece. Now I need to make sure that the height is 3 inches, so I'm still in my dimension tool. I'm going to click on the line, move outward, click again, press in 3, enter. Okay. So now I have my 3 by 19 piece. Everything is good. Just kind of making sure I'm touching all my bases. If you don't have this screen right here, no matter what you're doing, whether it's a IPT and IAM, it doesn't matter. go ahead and click this little plus and choose Model Browser. It'll bring that stuff back up. So you'll notice we're in Sketch 1 here. All right, now that I've got my shape, I've got my 2 dimensions, I'm going to go ahead and finish Sketch. I'm going to zoom back out. I don't know why it zooms in so far. Okay, zoom back out, and I'm going to go ahead and hit Extrude. Okay, it should pop out, but if it doesn't, go ahead and click on the box. That'll help you with making sure that you're extruding. Now, the direction that you need to worry about, you can do either one. You can do forward, backwards, or symmetrical. Just do not touch this asymmetric because you're just going to be lost. All right, so I don't really care which one you choose. I'm just going to go ahead and hit symmetric. And then the distance is going to be 0.75, that 3/4 inch that I talked about. So once everything's set and you have 0.75, you're going to hit OK, and here we have had created a solid piece. Now, not quite done with this yet because we have one more step to do, and that is to fillet the edges and corners. If you remember when we were in Woodshop, I told you needed to break the edges or the corners, and that's what we're going to do digitally. All right, so how to do that is we're going to click on Fillet. We are going to click and drag, hold down, let go, and you're going to highlight all of these edges, okay, all of these corners. When you do that, change it to 0.0625. Now notice it's 0.0625. Now watch what happens when I just put in 0.625 and I hit enter. It's going to say, hey, wait a minute. The dimension you're giving me is not going to fit on this piece, okay? So what we want to do is 0.0625, okay? Hit OK. And as I press down on my F4 key, you notice I can rotate this. F4 is going to be super important into assembling, so just be aware. But you'll notice as I zoom in here that piece now has rounded edges. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and file save this. Okay, and we're going to use this as, we'll just call it the big piece, because technically it is the big piece out of all of them. All right, so you see that it's in my tray folder. I'm calling it a big piece, and I'm going to save. Down below, you'll notice that the little tab down here actually saves as big piece. Okay, and now we're ready for the next one. All right, so in order to get to the next one, I'm going to go ahead and hit File, New, choose a standard IPT again, and create. And then it's basically all of the same movements, all of the same processes over and over and over again. So I'm going to start a 2D sketch. I'm going to choose the XY plane. Okay. I'm going to go to my rectangle tool, make sure it's a 2-point center. I'm going to click on the middle, move out, click again. Okay. Now after that, I got to make sure, what's my next piece? 1-inch strip. So I have a 1/19. Very, very close, but not quite the same. So same thing, I've created my rectangle. I'm going to click on dimension. I'm going to change this to 19 inches. Zoom outward. Okay, and I'm going to click once, move out again, click again, put 1, enter. Okay, so I have a 1/19 rectangle. That's what I want. Go ahead and hit finish. And then I'm going to extrude 0.75. Again, 0.75 is going to be our get-go every single time. All right. So I have created my piece. I'm going to go ahead and fillet. Click and drag across to select all the corners. And 0.0625. All right. That's all you need. It's over and over and over again. So I'm going to go ahead and save. 1-inch piece. Done. All right. So now I have two big piece and 1-inch. I got one more piece, and that is going to be the handle support. So the handle is actually 2x11. It's a little bit different. Still 3/4 or 0.75 thick. So same exact process. File, new, standard IPT, create. Start 2D sketch, XY plane, 2-point center rectangle. Click on the middle, move outward, click again, dimension, click on the line, move upwards. In this case, it's 11 inches, not 19, so I'm going to hit 11, enter, zoom out, Okay, got to dimension the height of this thing to 2. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and finish. Zoom out again. Extrude 0.75. Again, you can do it any direction. I just like doing symmetrical because I'm a nerd. So, okay, and then go ahead and fillet. Click and drag, select all the corners, and 0.0625. Enter. Once I'm done with that, we're going to go File, Save, and we're going to say Handle Support. Enter. Okay. So now if you look at your cut list, we've actually finished it all because top and bottom again are the same thing as a middle tray. That's what I call the big piece at 3x19. I created the 1-inch strip and I created the 2-inch handle support. So that is literally how you do it. And it's just basically creating those pieces, making sure that they're correct. If for some reason you goof up or you need to change something and you don't have to delete anything, what you do is, again, if you didn't have this model browser, okay, you hit the little plus model browser, you can go ahead and let's say your extrusion was wrong. So I double click on the extrusion, okay, and let's say it was 1.25. I don't know. Okay, it looks rather fat. So if I just double click on the little icon here, I can go ahead and get that distance and change it. Or let's say the sketch was wrong. So if you press the little plus button next to extrusion, double click the sketch, get into sketch mode, you notice it's a little blue. Okay, you can change this. Okay, so if it was 19, you're like, oh no, it's supposed to be 11. Double click, 11, boom. Finish, and it'll automatically update. Okay, so that's how you can do it. If you ever have a problem, this browser bar allows you to do that. If you messed up on the fillet, double click on that. Okay, so you can change things rather quickly once you get everything in, which is a really nice feature for this. In fact, you can actually do this while you're assembling if worst case scenario. It's just about making sure that you know what you're doing with the changes. All right, so that concludes our first phase of the tray, and I'll see you in the next video.